fast life meets the fast lane.
Yeah.
You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio.
Yeah.
The world of hip-hop and sports live.
Dropping the clutch and then I hit the gas. Wheels screeching, tires burning, I'm flying past. Gotta get home quick, don't wanna miss the class. They schooling you on whips and how to make them fast. Talking about everything from cars to planes. What's hot, what's next, and how to flip the game. They talk in my language, we speak the same. That whip talk complex, but yet they keep it plain. From the news, the interviews, they keep it cool. They give reviews, everything from parts to tunes. Can't lose, come to whips, they not no fools. Don't miss the show, the start time is noon. The bearded one, S.I. Sean, they crazy though. You can't miss it, tune in the Rally Radio.
Where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Whoop, whoop. I rolls dolo from state to state. You already know what it is, man. It's the bearded one here. Everybody, shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention early. We are in the building. We appreciate everybody. Let's get it. You already know what it is. Taking these headphones off, though, because it look crazy with my new Santa Claus. Hold on. Him. With that being said, shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You know how we get down, man. It is going to be a wild day today. If you haven't tuned in yet, don't forget to tune in. Saturdays, 12 noon. You know where to find us. Rally Radio. We are in the building. Shout out to everybody who's rocking with us and paying attention. With that being said, hope y'all out here having a good time, man, for y'all holiday season. I hope it's going the way that y'all wanted to. And it is for me. I will say that because we have made it to the end of the season, and we've seen a lot of things play out here, man. There's a lot of things playing out now. Looks like Trump is going to go into office. And once again, the politics do play a part in this. Because now we're starting to see what Elon Musk really is, what I've been telling y'all, man. Cobra Commander. Cobra! This dude been doing whatever he want to do. And now he really about to shock y'all. He really about to shock y'all. You already know what it is, man. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. One more time for everybody. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. You already know what it is, man. We're going to bring it back today. It looks like Dodge could be bringing the V8 back. It's going to be very interesting. It looks like Dodge is going to be bringing the V8 back. Or are they? Is this something that's on the table? Now that the leadership has changed, now that a lot of things have changed, Carlos Tavares has been given the boot. It could be a good chance that we're going to bring back the V8. And if they do, in what? Because obviously they can't bring him back in the Challenger. The Challenger is now discontinued. Charger is now discontinued. This electric Dodge Charger has really been making his rounds, and everybody been calling it what we've been calling it. Basura. It is garbage. But it looks like because of that, people are now even hankering and wondering about Dodge's future, which is why they brought back Tim the Great. Tim Kaniskas. He's back. So you already know what it is, man. Shout out to everybody who's paying attention. We're in the building. Like I said, don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. You already know what it is. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in, who's rocking with us. So with that being said, we got way more show for you to jump into. But before we even do any of that, I just wanted to give a couple shout outs. Definitely shout out to the BBS boys, man. I can't front. I love the way that they actually bring it together as far as their old school whips with the nice wheels, and that they actually get outside, man. Shout to them one more time, BBS boys. Hopefully we can get them up here on the screen and on camera. That would be great. Also, shout to Demonology. Let's go. Shout to the great Demonology, a.k.a. the Soul Snatcher. This guy is out here. He's taking it to the strip legitimately. If you have not followed the channel, you should check him out. Demonology. This guy, first off, he's been doing this for a little while, but now it's just really starting to hit now that we lost the V8, but we may be getting it back. So shout out to everybody who's tuned there paying attention. Appreciate y'all early. Like I said, don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. You already know what it is, man. I appreciate everybody and everything. But there's a couple other shout outs I wanted to give to. Shout, and I know y'all going to be like, come on. But shout to Dodge for actually being smart enough to bring Timmy Kaniskas back. Shout to them, man, because wasn't going to happen without them. You know what I mean? Wasn't going to happen if they didn't do the right thing and bring this guy back. Because it's looking ugly out there, man. It is looking ugly out there. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in paying attention. We are here. With that being said, we'd like to get right into the show. A lot of different things going on. Definitely didn't have a recap. We wasn't here last week. Feeling a little under the weather, but we are back. We are here. We are in the building. And like I said, I know you see the title up ahead. Is Dodge bringing back the Hemi? I think that's a big question. I think it's on the table. And Stellantis right now, from what I understand, they want to break apart Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler. They want to separate that from the rest of their brands. I wonder why. It's a weird thing, you think, right? Like with all of the brands that Stellantis, the head company, has over them, this is one of the brands that they want to break up. They want to get rid of them. I don't understand that. But it's definitely going to be very interesting. But in the meantime, Tim Kuniskis done made his way back. He let people know, listen, you know what? We're getting our butts kicked out here, man. It's serious out here. They're getting their butts kicked, man. It's just what it is. It looks like Dodge is not really what it was. And now with this electric vehicle, and now it's even making its ways to other places, the electric Dodge Charger. Shout out to a lot of the other channels that have, looked at this car and was honest about it. It's not a good car. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the crazier part. It's like now you see what was Dodge doing exactly? It's like now it is electric. It does have a trunk in the front. They have a wing on the front. And I think that's really the craziest part. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I guess they just got to rock with it. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. We got to just definitely make sure that we make it happen. It is what it is, man. I'm telling you. Shout to Zoom for Zoom. He said he's dropping off car. Listen, y'all lucky I ain't got no sleigh bells and reindeer outside, man. It's crazy out here. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully Santa, will look out for you and put that turbo in your sock or the intercooler under your tree. I hope he do it for me because I got a lot of plans, but unfortunately, no, I won't be giving away no car parts, but I wish I could. I would put them probably under my own tree. Shout to my guy, Dr. Phil. He's tuned in as well. Shout to Zoom for Zoom. Being tuned in early. Shout to Zoom for Zoom. He said, I see the reviews and picture Carlos Tavares somewhere and off with lightning and thunder in the background, even laughing at what he did to Dodge. I'm telling you, I feel like he did it on purpose. I feel like this was part of the plan. He was a plant. That was his job. He was a plant. I think that he was just brought to destroy it, and now that it's done, whatever. And now they call my man Timmy back after being out 7 months in retirement. I think this is very interesting, man, and this is the reason why Dodge is suffering. Everybody knows what it is. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Don't forget, drop the like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. And don't forget to share. You already know what it is, man. It's the bearded one. I'm here with my Santa Claus suit on. Well, as Santa Claus as I could be. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got the full white beard. And unfortunately, I just have the red hoodie. Just gonna have to rock with it. It's Santa Claus from the hood today. But with that being said, we're gonna jump right into the show. Here we go. Now, the last show that we did, because it wasn't last week, we actually talked about a lot of different things that was going on out here in the automotive community. But there are some other things that are starting to arise. And these are not things that we want to talk about today, but they do get honorable mentions. It looks like GM has killed off Cruise, all the automated taxis and everything like that. Look like they killed them off. They got tired of dealing with them. And not for nothing, they sent it out with a Slack message. So for those that don't know what Slack is a lot like WhatsApp, but for businesses, where a lot of them, they communicate through it. They can talk, send pictures, video, send media, and it's actually like, just for the company. It looked like the CEO of the company just pretty much sent out to that Cruise division, Mark Whitten. He sent it out. He said, you know what? We're not doing this no more. And with that being said, they just deaded it. I'm shocked. Shout out to my guy Draco. So it's very interesting. How did they just come about that? Now, we've been talking about Cruise and Waymo for a little while now. I don't know what happened, but it looks like now they just totally dropped out of the business. And they said they're going to use the autonomous driving section that they have. They want to add it to their vehicles. In other words, they want them to move to another division where they can help them put it on personal cars instead of cabs. I don't know. It's very interesting, but they are doing what they feel like doing. You know what I mean? That's just an honorable mention. But, we got a host of other things we're going to talk about here. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You know how we get down. We're going to dead the music a little bit because, we got our next little segment coming up. Let's get started.
Weekly Specs. Auto news for all the listeners, only on Rally Radio.
All right. You already know what it is, man. It's the bearded one in the building, and we're going to set it off straight. Here we go. It looks like now, it looks like Dodge, everybody at Dodge, the CEOs, not CEOs, but the executives, the people that actually make the decisions, actually had to sit back and say what was going on at Stellantis at the time to actually put Dodge in a hole that they're in now. So now it's coming out that Carlos Tavares had a cost-cutting obsession and left a trail of dissatisfied employees, dealers, and customers. Now, we already know, we kind of had speculation on this already, that he was, in fact, the reason why the Dodge Hellcat V8 was in the ground, and now we have straight facts that's telling it to us. So let's get into it. Carlos Tavares, the former CEO of Stellantis, had a reputation for cost-cutting and profitability at all costs. Got to be careful right there. While his tenure saw efforts to streamline operations and boost margins, it also left the automaker facing significant challenges, particularly in the U.S. market. A notable casualty of his leadership style, we got to see. It looks like it was him that killed the Dodge Challenger, Charger, V8, Hemi, Hellcat. So it looks like a lot of the executives are now coming out saying that Carlos Tavares was not only ignorant, but arrogant on top of that. Like, you know what? You guys in America don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to show you how to redo Dodge, and we're going to get rid of the V8. Nobody agreed with him, but yet they let him carry it on anyway. This is actually crazy. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You already know what it is. Shout to S's Ice. What's going on? Shout to my guy, Collective Choice. You already know what it is. Let's go. Shout to Collector's Choice. Shout to S's. Like I said, don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment. Shout to Rock. So it looks like at the end of the day, he wasn't listening to nobody else. He thought that he knew the American market more than anybody else. So what do we know about the American market? And these are the things that I seen immediately once they changed leadership. Once Carlos Tavares was involved, you notice more and more Tim Kuniskis started backing down. For those that don't know who Tim Kuniskis is the creator of the Dodge Challenger, Charger, Hellcat, 392, Dodge Durango Hellcat, Ram TRX, Jeep Wrangler 392. He created nothing but all of these great cars and actually put Dodge on the map from 2005 almost all the way up. Well, not 2005. Hellcat came out in 2014, and I believe he took the reins, 4 years before that. So he actually made it happen. And once Carlos Tavares was brought in, because FCA merged with another company to create Stellantis. And when they did, I guess they brought Carlos Tavares thinking that he could take him to the next level. But he wanted to get rid of the American cars. That's now what's coming out now. That is what's being evident. They said one of the most contentious decisions under his leadership was the elimination of the Hemi V8, a hallmark of Stellantis, Dodge, and Jeep brands. And a lot of people think, like, when we say V8, that we actually only talking about, or Hemi rather, we talking about now. No, this has been a staple of Dodge for a long time. The hemispherical V8, which is what Hemi is short for. A lot of people don't know. It's not just an engine that just came out recently in the recent 20 years. This had been one of Dodge's like first engines that they really was pushing. That was a V8 at that time, So I just don't understand. It was part of their culture. It's part of their heritage. And he wanted to get rid of it. And they said that the more that you spoke to him about it, he would get upset and just turn his head to other people. And we all got that kind of leadership. You already know what it is. We know some people that's like that. Shout to my guy, Gus. You already know what it is. We all know some people like that don't want to listen whatsoever. You try to tell them, try to point things out to them. Look, this is what's going on. And they are so caught up in whatever they think they are that they can't even listen to you a little bit and say, you know what? Let me just go back and look at some of this information that I'm being given. Obviously, he didn't. He told him, you need to be greener, and there was little to nothing they could do to change his decision. The pressure to cut emissions led to phasing out of the iconic engine, despite its popularity and the role it played in the company's performance-focused identity. I just can't understand that. Shout to my guy, Dr. Phil. He said it was sheer arrogance. Then getting rid of the Hemi is like Apple saying they're going to stop selling iPhones. Exactly. Shout to my guy, Dr. Phil. That's exactly what it is. It's like, how could you say that? So now it makes sense why Dodge now is fighting for their lives. and why they had to turn back to the old leadership to actually get something done, because there's no room. There's no room. You can't, there's no way that you can sit here and say that Dodge was not better off 5 years ago. They were. They're making money. At one point, we reported that they was actually making, I believe they made a couple billion in the quarter. They made the most. And they had, for a hot second, made the Dodge Challenger the most sold American muscle car in America. Shout to them. But for whatever reason, it's like, I guess that wasn't enough. And Tavares felt that he needed to do something to make it happen. He needed to move. And you know what he did? But the move that he made was just ridiculous. And you know, here at Rally Radio, we didn't let him live. You know how we do. We call it right out. How do you get rid of the cars that sell the most for you, make the most money, and then tell these brands if they don't make no money, you're going to get rid of them? That is horrible. And we talked about the leadership the other week, how bad leadership can steer you right into a hole. And that's exactly what happened. There's no more to say about it. It's exactly what happened. They steered it right into a hole, man. So now we know why Dodge felt they had to go back and get Timmy to get these things popping, because I'm going to be honest with you, they got a long way to come back from this. And now that you see the reviews on the Dodge Charger, whatever they want to call it, we'll call it the Dodge Charger EV. Now that you see the reviews on it, it's like, what in the heck was they doing? So now, and I watched them because I try not to be totally biased. I try to remind myself why I hate electric cars. You know what I'm saying? I got to be honest here. They're not my cup of tea. It is what it is. But at the same time, just watching some of the bigger channels that actually got a chance to drive one, they would stomp on the I can't even say the gas. We're going to have to say he stomped on the accelerator, and the car didn't go anywhere. And that Fruit Sonic exhaust that was coming out from there is ridiculous. It's loud, but it doesn't sound good. You know what it reminds me of? If anybody knows, if I'm going back into the movies a little bit, if anybody remembers The Wraith, if you remember that movie, The Wraith, and the way that car sounded when he was driving, like it wasn't really exhaust, it sounded like it was just noise. It's exactly how this car sounds. And everybody knows that the Wraith was actually a Dodge Interceptor that was actually made over for that movie. But that's just your little 7 degree separation. You can tell your people that you actually learned something here. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that the Dodge EV, this Dodge Challenger EV, everybody's giving it horrible grades. And it looks nice. But I believe a lot of people forgot that Tim Kuniskis did actually introduce this Dodge Charger EV, and he wasn't happy with it. But he did say something that a lot of people wasn't paying attention to. He did say that there are connections inside of it to turn it into a V8. He did say that. He was up there saying, he said, you know what, yeah, they kind of left space for a V8 to be put into it just because. And you got to ask yourself, is that something that you're going to see people doing? This is very interesting, man. I'm shocked that that Dodge did this and they actually got rid of it, and that they listened to somebody and they brought somebody in who wasn't who didn't know the American market whatsoever. Brought somebody in there to actually do this. And I just don't understand that. But at the end of the day, shout to everybody who's paying attention. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. They did it. And now they got to make their way back. And I'm going to be honest with you. It's not going to be easy. I believe if anybody could do it, Timmy could do it. But it's definitely going to be tough. I don't know how you're going to make it happen unless they bring back the V8. And that is what you see on the cover of today's show. Because from what I understand, Dodge is in talks to bring back the Cuda. Obviously, they can't go back to Charger. They can't go back to Challenger because they're discontinued. But I hear that the Dodge Cuda is on the table with a Hemi V8. I just want to give Tim a shout out. That would be great. That would be great for that car to come for the 8 to come back in a cooler, a two-door coupe. Oh, definitely buying it. Make it manual. I'm buying it. But also, it looks like he's going to release a Hellcat Dodge pickup. And if you've noticed, if anybody's been paying attention, you notice that they've been advertising the Dodge Durango Hellcat V8. They said they're not going to kill it off. They said they're going to keep it going because it is what Dodge is. And I was like, whoa. So now that leaves the door open for the engine to still be made. Because if they had discontinued making the engine, I could see that this would be a problem to bring it back. But because they've been making it in the Durango and they've been making the crate engine versions, oh, no. There's a good chance that they may bring it back. Shout out to Dr. Phil. He said, bring back the Viper, generate some excitement. Ooh. But the Viper, there's only one way you can bring that back. Got to be the 10. Cannot be an 8. Supercharged 8, I've seen one in Roadkill Nights. The guy had one. They swapped the Hemi V8 in it, and I just was disgusted. I don't care how fast it is. I wasn't with it. But with that being said, you know how we get down, man. It's the bearded one here. We got some more news for you. Digital license plates can be hacked to dodge tolls and tickets. Now, I don't know if y'all remember us talking about this before. Shout to S.I. Sean. Let's go. You already know what it is. We talked about this before, where they wanted to have digital license plates to replace regular license plates. And right there, it didn't make sense. How do you make a digital license plate and say that it's going to be good and that nothing's going to happen to it? And you have hacking going on all over the place. They hacked the Keystone Pipeline. They hacking everything. And you mean to tell me they didn't think that these license plates would be hacked? Let's get into it a little bit. Digital license plates have been around for several years. Very interesting. Promising to save states money, shipping metal plates while also dragging their respective departments of motor vehicles in the 21st century. They also said that they can be hacked. So they letting you know. So it can be hacked to change the plate number at will, allowing drivers to avoid paying tickets and tolls. In fact, they can also allegedly stick other drivers with their fines, which doesn't sound good. But IOA active security researcher Joseph Rodriguez reportedly discovered a way to jailbreak the Reviver brand license plates that are already on 65,000 vehicles. It does require physical access to the license plate, but once he installed new firmware, he was able to use an app on his phone to change the number displayed on the license plate. While that would allow owners to avoid tickets, there's also nothing stopping them from using another vehicle's license plate number to stick them with the bill. There's also no way for Reviver to update the software to prevent jailbreaking. This is a joke. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know we starting early. You know, I don't really get into it early, but
it's the understeer.
What up?
Where we like to ask, what the hell were you thinking?
Shout out to Dr. Phil. You can't make this up. What are you talking about? You can't fix it if somebody hacks it. Oh, boy. We keep walking into it, y'all. So now with all of this with ghost cars, let's just get into that. New York has an epidemic, and a lot of inner cities have an epidemic of ghost cars. And what is ghost cars, bearded one? Ghost cars are cars that don't have correct license plates. They have paper on them. They try to make sure that they can do kind of crimes and get away with it because at the end of the day, the license plate is not to their car. And you've had a series of people actually having to pay for other people's problems when it comes to these cars. There was a lady recently, she had to go to CBS, Help Me Howard or whatever, because people were using her license plate, which was, she got her license plate. It was a custom license plate that she used for Star Trek, for the Enterprise. I think it was NC whatever 1702. Do you know that people took the picture of that license plate off of the internet, made a copy, slapped it on their cars, and was driving through tolls and turnstiles, committing crimes, and she was getting all of the tickets to her house. She was getting, they said she was running up like $15,000 a month, she said. Retired lady from Long Island. She was getting tickets from Chicago, LA, Texas. They were sending these tickets to her house, talking about, oh, well, you know, we're going to have to charge you for this because it's your license. And I mean, they had it in different states, different state plates, but they still kept sending it to her. I thought that was crazy. But now it looks like they coming up with a plate that can actually be hacked. And we talked about this. Imagine if they hack it and just slap a whole nother plate on and commit a crime and then break out and then change the plate. And they're talking about you have to have physical access to the plate. What if you get a hack plate and then change the? I don't know. I'm blown away. Shout to Phil. He's talking about hacking and drive all over NYC for free. That's what I'm talking about. It doesn't make any sense. Why are we so in a rush to jump into the 21st century? We ain't finished with the 20th yet. Let's go. I see we got a caller. What we got going on here? Rally Radio, who we got in the box?
Yup, it's your boy Big J in the building.
Shout to my guy Jay. He is tuned in early. Let's go, Jay. What you got for us today? You hear this craziness?
What's going on, man?
Same thing.
Yo, I'm looking at what's going on here with this congestion pricing and all this wild stuff with these plates. It's a cash grab. We all know this.
Yes.
Like, I just wanted to know. I just want everyone's take on it, because to me, it's just like, and it's only a thing that happens here. Because again, I feel like, as someone who's lived in both sides of the country,
yes,
I feel like they're going way harder out here than they did in Cali.
Well,
if you
know what?
Okay, and hear me out. If you think about it, because in Cali it was just, if a cop was just bored, I'm gonna pull you over. But that's just like, those are always like one-off incidences.
Right.
Out here, you're at the mercy of AI and all forms of high-tech technology that you have to pass through.
Yes.
You have to interact with this and whatnot. And it's crazy how we are the test bed on what this is. That's going to happen across a lot of these big cities.
Yes. It's ridiculous out here. Well, I'll tell you what. You already know my take on it. My thing is drivers are being charged to drive around. And I think, you got a lot of advocates, people that advocate for the city, like, we need this for the subways and everything. But you're making it to the point where you have to pay to go to Manhattan, period, unless you're being dropped off by a helicopter. And even then, you're going to have to pay a couple dollars. I don't understand how we think that this is right. So now either you take the subway or you drive and you get charged. You take an Uber, you get charged. The only way you don't get charged is if you ride an EV scooter. And so don't be shocked that you see a bunch of them start popping up. You ride a motorcycle, you're getting charged. What does that do for the businesses that's downtown Manhattan from 60th Street on down? It hurts them. That's one. Two, you're going to force people to get on the train, and everybody know that the train, and I always say this all the time, the train is streets of rage after 9 o'clock. It is ridiculous down there.
See, the thing is you got to think the people who are pushing, who's making pushes for this, right? It's kind of a three-front. It's a three-front thing, though. You think about it, right? Mm-hmm. Like the average people who's pushing it are people who are never natives of the city, because they'll straight up tell you, like, look, is it overcrowded? Yeah, but we're also not about to impede on people who drive, and because we know there's a balance where, God forbid, if you put this in now, wow, surprise, everything else is more expensive in the city,
right,
and whatnot. Then the other thing is, it's pushed by Kathy Hochul. Kathy Hochul does not live in New York City. She lives in New York State, but she does not live in the city. Mm-hmm. So she does not see the everyday struggles that regular New Yorkers go through. Right. I'm still trying to get over the fact that there's a lot of us that don't know about computers, which I still can't believe that was a comment she said, but I digress.
Continue on.
And then you got Eric Adams, pretty much kind of giving the last middle finger to every New Yorker who lives in New Jersey, mind you.
Right.
Right before he gets indicted and stuff like that, and figured, you know what, I'm gonna make things more impossible. So now, ironically enough, I don't know how true this is. Apparently, Trump is supposed to be fighting this.
So here's the big problem, right? They want to implement this thing before Trump gets into office, because Trump he already said that he's not signing off on it. He's not giving no kind of federal assistance for it. No help, nothing, right? So this is them trying to implement it before he gets into office. Now, the problem is that right now there is a case that people are hearing, or that a judge is hearing, to see if they could prolong it. If they prolong it, and let's say it get pushed back and they revisit it in 3 months, there's a great chance it's not going to go through. And not for nothing, you know, at the end of the day, it just goes to show the waffling of the Democrats at times, man. Like, you know, 1 minute they don't want to do it. They have full carte blanche to get it done. And what do? They stopped it so that they can make sure that everybody gets in the office. Now that nobody get in the office, now all of a sudden the city's ready. She said the city wasn't ready 6 months ago. Now it's ready after 6 months.
Right.
What has happened since then? What has happened? Rent has went up higher, right? Interest rates have came down a little bit, but people's jobs are not meriting exactly what they're making so that they could actually afford to do that. Businesses have not been able to afford to live. And that was one of the main things. They was like, oh, you know what? The businesses won't survive. No, they won't. And trust me when I tell you, when this happens, and it's going to happen, they're going to get it to go through one way or the other. And when they do, you're going to start to see the rise of Long Island. I'm telling you, more people are going to go out there and eat and hang out more than ever because it's still going to be slightly cheaper. And it's not that $9 is a lot if you're going out there for one night or whatever you're going to pay. But people feel really disrespected by the fact that their politicians are not listening to them. I'm sorry.
Because most of the politicians do not live in the city, which is wild.
Yes.
And then, you know, and then moving on from that, oh, man. So, and this is just sort of my thing because I've seen that you guys talked about it the other week. Your boy Tim is back in the range, man.
Yeah, I just spoke about that. So the thing is, Tim Kniskus, like I said, for those that don't know, the father of the Dodge Hellcat, TRX Ram, Dodge Challenger Hellcat, Charger, Durango Hellcat. He is back in the seat. He retired 7 months ago, right? And everybody knows that he didn't want to put out this EV Charger or whatever. He didn't want to do it. He made adamant that it will not have a Hellcat brand. He retired, and it looks like the brass called him immediately as soon as Carlos Tavares was given a boot, and it looks like they're going to bring him right back. So it's just crazy how things are playing out. I mean, and all of this is going on, and it's like, it's funny how everybody tries to turn a blind eye. Like they don't see what's going on. I got to say, for the most part, with the city, we're dealing with AI, giving people false tickets. I mean, it's happening everywhere you turn. And you know what? We spoke about this a million times on this show, but it's just crazy to see it come to fruition. But Timmy is back, man. He's back.
Yeah, and to go into the whole thing with the AI, the whole what's called AI is scanning out your plates and stuff like that. I think that in itself that's a walking lawsuit ready to happen because one, it's an invasion of your own privacy because you didn't sign up for it. You didn't sign up for AI to read your information and then say, oh well, here's the ticket. It's like, how does that work? You know what I mean? And then there's this, but then as far as with Tim Kniskus being back in range, I feel like I can't look. I'm not a big mind reader and whatnot, but I do feel like give him time. They're going to bring back the V8 because they can see very well that these things don't. The straight sixes don't sell. There's no heavy interest in the electric version of those vehicles.
I gotta stop. Well, hold on, though, Jay. I gotta say this though. It's a Turbo 6. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's going to replace the 8. And I had this conversation. Shout to Zoom for Zoom. He's in the building. Like I said, once again, shout to him. He said that my man Eric Adams ain't getting indicted. He rolled the dice on Trump winning, and now he's going to get that pardon. And shout to Jessica Grandy. She's in the building early. And shout to Draco. He said automotive tyranny. I'm going to tell you this, Jay. The way things are looking, one, Eric Adams is getting that part. Ain't no way around it. He said he's going to help them clean the city up. It is what it is, right?
Right.
I don't know as far as like the automotive side of it, what Trump is going to do exactly. To me, it's still a cloud. Reason being is because your man Elon, aka Cobra Commander out there, is running this show. And there's some other things we're going to talk about too later on in the show that we're going to talk about, but continue on, Jay.
Yeah, which by the way, I still feel like that's a whole fever dream. You mean the guy who made a Cybertruck, which if those who haven't seen it, I driven one and reviewed it, and it is a truck. That's the best way I could describe it.
That is hilarious.
It's suicide.
Stay out of
It
it.
is a truck. By the way, fun fact: even when you open the door inside the door hinges, you can start seeing the rust. It is a.
What?
I'm just gonna leave it as that.
Oh, my bad. There go the horn for one right there. Oh, it's a toilet flood. Oh, it's ridiculous.
But it is kind of wild how that whole thing is happening. But no, just to kind of get on the whole entire thing. I feel like Tim Kniskus is gonna bring back the V8 only because it sells like hotcakes.
Mm.
It's the reason why you can see so many stolen ones out here, and they end up, and the prices of these things don't drop.
Shout to my guy Miller Time NYC. He's in the building. So here's my thing, Jay. If you are Tim Kniskus, though, how do you do that? How do you bring it back?
Honestly, here's the thing. You got to take the risk because here's the thing. That was sold to enthusiasts. Enthusiasts bought them all up.
Yes.
No problem.
Yes.
Honestly, I feel like when Tim Kniskus sold it originally, it was just, they knew their audience. It isn't like Jaguar, for example, where they're like, we're going to sell you a car and, it looks like an iPhone or something else that I won't say on the radio.
Yeah, Jaguar's wild. Continue.
But it's like the man knew his audience, and the fact that if for him to say, "Oh, by the way, we're going to bring back the Hemi," cool. You keep the straight six because you got it already.
Yes.
I'm curious to see how that goes.
Yes.
But you bring back the Hemi V8, and let's see what it does. I'm telling you, it'll bring numbers.
Here's what I would do. One, the electric charger and electric EV, whatever, right, is here already, right? So obviously you make it. I would make it on an order basis, right?
Right.
I wouldn't just mass produce them. I would make them on an order basis. If you want one, you order one, and we'll make it to spec, right? In the meantime, I would make the Hemi V8. I would make the Hellcat engine 6.2 liter supercharged. I would make a limited run of that again, and I would use that to gauge how many people really want to buy one. Because we all say it, but we all know the prices. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. Now, as far as the 6 goes, the turbo 6-cylinder would be the mainstay engine. Like, pretty much, we selling this car with this inline turbo 6 in it. And if you want just a charger that looks like this, you don't want the electric one, get this one. That's going to be yours. But we do have a quick run of the Hemi V8 supercharged Hellcat engine in there. Shout to my guy Corey Bradford in the building. Shout to my guy Dave. He's tuned in as well. Those are the things that I would do, because I believe if you go too far V8, you're going to get a lot of people who say they want it, but they can't afford it. And you're going to get other people on the other side of electric cars that probably are looking forward to this Dodge EV thing. Now, that's what I would do if I was Dodge. I would take a page out of Toyota's book pretty much, and I would try to accommodate everybody, but still leave room for performance, if that makes any sense. What's your thoughts, Jay?
Oh, by the way, 2 things. One, I agree with you 100% on everything. Mm-hmm. The one thing I would also add to it is regulate how dealers mark up a lot of these prices. Like, literally, if you regulate inventory, regulate the inventory for these things. It's because, like, look at what happened with Nissan. They didn't regulate any of their prices for them when the Z came out, and you have people buying them a $40,000 Nissan Z for $90,000, which is outrageous. And then they wonder how this car didn't sell. Yeah, for that exact reason.
So my problem with just the dealerships in general is that they see the hunger and they see the need and they still do that. And this is why now they're feeling the effects of what they did, because now they can't sell a car to save their lives. And this is why Nissan is in the trouble that they're in. This is why a lot of car companies are really in a jam, because at the end of the day, they get into the dealership front and they can't do nothing with it. But
exactly,
at the end of the day, can you be mad at them? But continue on.
Oh, yeah. And then the other thing, fun fact, for those who don't know, do you know how much an EV charger weighs?
It weighs about 5,900 pounds.
Yeah. Why? Why is that so heavy? Why? How is it heavier than an M5? That makes no sense.
So I would like to believe the battery pack is maybe bigger, but BMW's R&D definitely tried to make that to where the batteries don't weigh as much. I don't know, because in all honesty, there's no way you could be performance in EV charging. I just don't see how it works. I've seen guys drive Teslas on the track and they think we're supposed to be impressed, but after one hot lap, you're down to like 14%. I don't understand how this is working. I don't know.
It's weird. So two things. One, the Tesla Plaid, which was like the top of the line Model S, only comes in at maybe 4,800 pounds, which is, it's wild how light that is. What they should have did was take a page from Hyundai's book, right?
Yes.
Take a page from Hyundai. Yeah, because if you look at their Kona N or their the Kona 5, whatever it is.
Yes.
It can make hot laps and it doesn't burn as much of a charge.
There you go. I will say this though. Question is, are they really going to go back to the drawing board with it and actually make it better? I don't think so. I think this was done to appease the government at that time, and now that leadership is gone, I believe that so will that car. That car will just be there because they said we're supposed to have one. That's it. That's what I think.
Yeah, that car is going to absolutely. But then the funny part is when that car goes, what's hilarious about that is that car is going to end up shooting up in value just because of like the rarity of that vehicle not selling, and also because of the fact that there's so few of them on the road. So
yeah,
it's kind of wild how that works.
Yeah, telling you, it's gonna be interesting, man. Shout to my guy Jay, as usual, with the insights. You got any shout outs you want to give, Jay?
I just wanted to shout out everyone, family, friends, y'all know who you are. Just wanted to say, hey, how y'all doing? Drive safe out here. It's snowing and not snowing now, but you got that black ice on the road. It was
definitely out there going crazy. Got to be careful out there. And it's supposed to get colder tonight. Continue on, Jay. Sorry.
Also, you all-wheel drive guys, listen. Look, I get it. Y'all don't gotta rub it in our faces.
They will, though. These freaking all-wheel drive guys are going to definitely rub it in. They ain't got no sense, man. But with that being said, you know how we get down here at Rally Radio. Shout to my guy once again, Jay, for calling up. Don't forget, Jay, we got to get you up here, man. But in the meantime, it sounds like Santa's on the way. Shout to Shai, and shout to my guy Raheem, always in 2 things. I would like to believe that Santa's gonna bring me a Porsche too. I got my hat on. Yo, Jay, it was good hearing from you. Don't forget, we got to get you up here in the station, man. You already know what it is. Appreciate you, man, all day, man. You already know what it is.
You too, gentlemen, everyone, ladies, gentlemen, please have a happy holiday.
Yes, everybody under the sound of my voice. Happy holidays to y'all, man. Jay, I appreciate you greatly, man. You already know what it is. Sleigh bells in the snow, baby. We gonna get up with you.
Oh yeah.
All right, Jay. Later. Shout to my guy, Jay. Always on point. Always knows what's going on. Looks like Santa's on his way, y'all. I hear y'all out there. Don't get destroyed. But with that being said, shout to Phil. He said, all-wheel drive, do it on all fours. That is, shout to Phil. That's a T-shirt. That is a T-shirt right there. You just gave it. Let's go. You already know what it is. Shout to everybody who's tuned there paying attention. You know how we get down here, man. We are here. We are in the building. Got a couple of little news things for y'all before we move on. Looks like the Mitsubishi Evo. Now that shout to Jay, he talked about an all-wheel drive car. The Mitsubishi Evo has recently sold on Bring a Trailer for what? Y'all ready for this? Because I can't believe it neither. It sold for more than a Type R. $161,000.
Give me your fucking money.
Now, for those that don't know, a Mitsubishi Evolution is one of the staples of the JDM car community. Definitely one of those cars that highly sought after. its arch enemy is a Subaru WRX, or STI rather. They've battled it out when it came to all kind of different rally stages and things. And at the end of the day, to me, one of the only Mitsubishis that was really worth jumping on and copping outside of the early Eclipse versions, GSXs, and obviously the Galant VR4. They've had their wins, but the Mitsubishi Evo is probably one of the best cars that Mitsubishi makes. So with that being said, man, they jump right in, man, and it looks like $160,000 is sold for. Shout out to my guy Sales. He's in the building early. You already know what it is. I find that crazy that it's sold for that much, $160,000. That is actually going to bring the prices up in the street. I don't know if anybody has tried to buy a Type R recently, but if you try to buy an Acura Integra Type R, the prices are through the roof because everybody said, yo, well, it went for $50,000 on the Barrett Jackson auction. So it doesn't mean your yellow faded Type R with a case swap in it because you had the B18 C5 was stolen and the fake Type R wheels is worth $25,000. I'm gonna need you to go to the other side with that. Yo, killing me with this. I don't understand how a lot of these guys are really like, yo, I got this. I know what I got. Bruh. Just come off the car, man. That's yo, killing me with this. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. With that being said, they did say it was only a handful of cars that was actually worth that much on Bring a Trailer, and reason being is because at the end of the day, it was so clean. It was a clean version. Yes, people. There's no amount of price markup that you could put on for a clean car. Well, there is, but I don't like to see that. At the end of the day, you're selling the car $160K. The only thing I can say about Bring a Trailer is that the bid brought it up that high. That's not. He didn't jump out the box and say I want $160,000 for this thing. The bid brought it up that high. And you're gonna get your rich guys that got money. Money's no object. They're like, I want it. I don't care how much it costs. And for them, I don't like you. And I hope you get it. And I hope the engine seizes on you, you prick. I'm sorry. It is what it is. You already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Shout to Shy. He says, Snow, what's that? Yeah, it upsets me. With that being said, you already know what it is, man. It's the bearded one here. We got a whole bunch of things going on. Now, let's talk about some of this automotive news. It looks like Hearst, who already owned Car and Driver and Road and Track, has now acquired Motor Trend. Now, with Motor Trend, there's a lot of things that come with that, roadkill nights and everything. But it looks like now they're going to be selling, I don't know. I'm going to be honest here. This is Rally Radio. It's the bearded one in the building. I'm going to take my headphones off for this one. My problem is that now you have a little bit of a monopoly on the information about automotive vehicles. And if you've noticed that anybody that's been paying attention to this, the Road and Track and Car and Driver, they've been sliding a little bit towards the electric vehicle. Like, we're not really interviewing any gas cars. You want to look at the electric vehicles and trying to show you the pros of owning one. It's like they're really trying to put out a lot of propaganda. Or even Autoblog. Look like that's where Autoblog is going as well. But shout to the Drive, as usual, for being honest and knowing what people want to see and what they want to hear. And I'll be totally honest with you, it's definitely not a bunch of electric vehicles. But with that being said, this is very important because once you own one side of the media, it's very easy to put out a false narrative and sell it. And we got to keep that in mind. That's why Rally Radio exists, because we do not like the false narrative. When you're here, I try to give everybody a lot of the information that the regular news channels and news blogs are not covering, because that is what we do here at Rally Radio. Shout out to everybody. You already know what it is. Just keep out on the lookout for that. You cannot have one company that owns all of the media publications, because that is where you get propaganda put out. And there's nobody really to refute it. But as long as Rally Radio's in the building, that's what we plan to do. So shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, drop it on your people. Let them know there's one person out here that's out here putting out a lot of the automotive news. Got a lot of other things coming up for you. But in the meantime, we're going to get into something that's really going to be very interesting, something I've been talking about for a long time. And that is the state of the government when it comes to these self-driving cars. This is getting very interesting now. So it looks like now Trump's team is going to scrap the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration automotive car crash requirement. The requirement attributes higher crash numbers to Tesla. Figures that the automaker claims is unfair. Now, we all know that Elon Musk, a.k.a. Cobra Commander, is now on the political board, or with the government, rather, for DOGE, a.k.a. Department of Government Excess. They're going to be getting rid of government access, is what they say, right? But let's get into this a little bit. So we're going to go back a little bit before, when Tesla was getting a bad name and a lot of people still was buying them. At the end of the day, a lot of the truth was coming out about them. A lot of the crashes, a lot of the batteries burning up and catching fire and not being able to put them out. A lot of stuff was coming out. And it comes up that, you know what? He's going to have to do something. He wanted to get his own publication. What does he do? He offers to buy Twitter. Boom. That's the first thing that he does. He buys Twitter. Now, after he buys Twitter, he gives all of the people who are banned, he gives them their accounts back. Trump being one of them. He gave Trump his account back because Trump was banned because they felt that he incited a riot on January 6th, right? So he gives him back his account. Now, when he gives him back his account, Trump is obviously back on Twitter. And you know how he doing his Twitter page, he be going wild with it. But at the end of the day, this is what we call dividends. It's going to pay dividends for Elon Musk later. So now he donates to the Trump campaign. He makes sure that he could get the Trump campaign going. And what does Trump do? He rewards him with a cabinet seat where he is. And what's the first thing that he does? One of the first things that Elon Musk is moving for is that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration automotive car crash requirement be done. And we all know Trump is good for those that he feels took care of him. So now that is what we're looking at right now. Not only that, right? There was a Wall Street Journal YouTube video that came out last week. I don't know if anybody subscribed to them, but if you don't, you should, because you need to know what's going on. Not saying that they don't have their own little things, but you will find articles of what you're looking for. So it looks like last week they came out with a video pretty much showing a lot of these different Tesla car crashes and what the Tesla sees. So a lot of people don't know this, but Tesla does not release the video of what the Tesla car sees in full self-driving, when it is driving, and what caused the crash. Now, we talked about this before, how Tesla give you 8 seconds to take over the control of the car to stop a crash. But it looks like these Tesla cars, Wall Street Journal was able to get hold of the units and the video cameras and all of the computers themselves, and they sent them to an off-brand hacker who doesn't want to be named. And he was able to pull up the video and also pull up the diagnostics of the car and what the car was doing. The video on the car showed, now there was one in particular where there was a Tesla car full self-driving. We talked about it. There was an accident that spilled over the side of the highway. It was a truck overturned and it was covering the whole side of the highway. You had emergency services out there and everything. And this guy plows right into the side of that car and dies. They were able to see what the car saw. And you know what? The car did not see it. The car did not see an overturned truck. And now that leads you to what does it see and how does it see? So the reason that Tesla is able to put out all of these cheap EVs, and actually the only reason they cost more money is because he's selling you the tech in them. But the reason they are able to cheat on the autonomous side is because they do not force him, or they don't have a regulation that says he has to have LiDAR and radar in the cars on top of the camera, like Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz uses LiDAR, radar, and they also use camera to do their autonomous driving, and they're on stage 3. And a lot of other cars, Blue Cruise and things like that, a lot of them use LiDAR and radar. LiDAR is a lot more safer, but it is also very expensive, which is why if you have a self-driving car that's not Tesla, it costs that much more money. Tesla says that is primitive and we won't use it. So they don't. So now they got self-driving cars out here without even the minimal that you need to detect an accident. All they're using is cameras. They're not using anything else. Now, for those that doesn't find that shocking? Just look at the price of the cars. Compared to if you go get an electric car from any other company that can fully do full self-autonomous driving, it costs double what a Tesla would cost. The fact that he's selling you a car for this much with only a quarter of the safety features is ridiculous. Shout to Jessica Grandy. She said, who is supposed to regulate that? The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration are the ones that's been regulating it, and they have been on Elon Musk and Tesla since 2016. They have been all over them trying to get them to put this LiDAR and radar in their cars, and Elon Musk refuses. As a matter of fact, when there is an accident and the car is in full self-driving, he wants to pass, and this is one of those regulations, he wants to pass that the family does not have access to that information. We got to call him. Rally Radio, who we got in the box? Uh-oh. Rally Radio, who we got in the box?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Miller time.
Miller time, NYC. You know how we get down here, man. What's going on, Miller?
I'm listening to you, man, and I am so sad and so disappointed, but not shocking. But
No.
not shocked at all.
No.
Because got to give you credit for putting it out there in the first place. And it was crazy because I was on vacation, and you know what I do? I do my
You drive.
my therapy.
Yes.
From one location to other disclosed location on certain highway numbers that
Yes.
start with 9 and end with 5.
Uh-huh.
But I'm seeing, I finally passed a what do they call them things?
The Tesla.
The metal trash can. I'm sorry. Did I say that? No, I meant the Cybertruck. That thing looks so bland. And it's like, you know how when you get up in the middle of the night, you got to go to the bathroom, and your toe hits that corner of the table. That's what that looked like. It looked like a sharp table, and you don't want to get too close because if you hit it wrong, you're going to start bleeding and having go through all types of pain.
I can't front. You said that right now, man, and I remember stubbing my toe. And shout to my guy Rich. He was like, yo, you stub your toe, you're going to be Maxwelling it out here. Like, screaming. I'm in pain. But my thing is, right, and check this out, Miller. Shout to everybody who's there paying attention. I don't want them to lose what we're saying. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is to govern us, and they've been trying to govern this guy since 2016. We're talking 8 to 10 years ago, and he has not followed regulation. Now, it looks like there's been 2 horrible Cybertruck crashes that were in full self-driving, and they're investigating it. 2.
Yes.
Where a group of teenagers died in one of them, and I believe somebody else, a couple other people died in the other. But they're being investigated, and he is doing any and everything that he can to keep this out of the papers and keep it out of the news. I wouldn't be shocked to just shut our Twitter account down right now because of the same reason. What he uses is not good enough. And what I find shocking is that nobody is really questioning it. Shout to my homeboy. I sat with my homeboy who actually said he rented a Tesla Plaid Performance Edition for a week, and he used the drive. He was like, yo, it was good. It was driving around other cars. You know, I'm telling you, I feel like this thing could get me home. And boom, 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 boom. I said, but what happens when it gets into a situation that it's not ready for? It gives you back control, or it just smashes in the cars themselves. And this is what the Wall Street Journal had video of. This hacker put out about 10 or 15 videos of what the Tesla saw before the crash. And this thing did not see anything.
I was telling that to my wife, and I was telling that to another friend of mine, and it was like, how crazy is it that if that vehicle doesn't recognize lines in the highway, if there's no lines, then what is it going to do? I hate to say this. I rather go to space in his vehicle than I would rather be driving. Make that make sense.
Listen, it makes total sense. And you know why I say that? Because at the end of the day, he's not following no kind of, if anything, that's like me saying this. Oh, well, you know what? Stitches is so overrated. I use this new thing called the Helo stapler that probably will give you cancer if you use it. We can still use the stitches, but that's so old. And people are with it.
Right.
Shout to Jessica Grandy. She said, let me tell you, I was crossing the street and the cyber truck was parked. I'm crossing the street and I think it took a picture of me. I almost fell because it flashed me. There was a great, and she said nobody was in it. There's a great chance that it was taken. Those cameras run 24/7 on them Teslas. They don't stop.
Yes, they do.
That's why China will not allow them in no kind of compounds. They won't allow them in any government buildings because they don't know what the car's taping. And all of this information is sent to Elon Musk. He gets it. It is sent to Tesla. Let me not say personally Elon Musk. It's sent to Tesla, and they have the footage. Why are they holding on to it, Miller? Why?
Because he's been giving them orders to anything that you see, report it to me, and I'll make sure that my peoples will never make sure that my peoples get hold of that, and no one else gets to see it. They're gonna. The crazy thing is when CEOs talk about how, oh, I did not know or I did not have knowledge of it. It is straight bull. I can't finish the rest of the word, but you know where I'm going with this.
I know where you're going.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
A family show, Miller. I got you.
I mean, because let's be real here. We work for a company that quote unquote has no clue of what they're doing. But when you go up into that boardroom, when those cameras are shut off and all the microphones are removed,
yes,
you're gonna believe the real business is going down.
See, here's my real take on a lot of this stuff, and at the end of the day, they're using people as guinea pigs, and they just dissecting the incident. Has anybody noticed that crash that I put that reel up about? They were doing 120 miles an hour into a wall, and we have not heard anything else about that. Does nobody else find that shocking? Nobody even looked at that video and said, you know what? How did they drive that fast into a wall? Into a wall.
Yeah, that makes, like I said, make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
And then you have, and then you call first responders. They can't do nothing because now they got to let that battery burn because they don't have enough water to put the battery fire out.
There you go. It's getting out of control. Let me tell you, they were doing 120 miles an hour into a wall, right? You didn't see no brakes. You didn't see them try to make no turn. And you know what they're going to, and then on top of that, the information has not been released. This was a couple. They have 2 small children. And you mean to tell me that nobody wants to know what happened? The media has not covered it. It's already been 2 weeks. We was able to find somebody who shot a United Healthcare CEO in the back in the 7:30 in the morning, fully clothed his whole time here. They found him inside of 2 weeks. They found him inside of a week and some change. You mean to tell me we can't get this information immediately? That's where we going?
Yeah. We might as well call this ranting week, man, because you've been going off today.
Yo, I'm sorry. I hate feeling that way because.
But it's okay, brother. You sometimes you need somebody out there listening and understanding. So you need to let that out, brother. By all means, my number is. Let me stop. Just give me a call, man. Give me a call. Let it out, bro. But you're right, though. But you're absolutely right. It didn't take them but 2 weeks to go find this cat. But now you can't figure out how to put this out and try to work this out and try to fix this thing. And it's just,
come on.
It's so sad and scary. But you got to be careful now, man, because I'm surprised Facebook ain't closed you down yet.
I tell you what,
you got to be careful, brother.
If you think my videos don't get flagged, they do. and they flagging for all the different, you can't say this, you can't say it. Listen, at the end of the day, people need to know the truth. And there's going to be people out here that, they live and die by Tesla. That's fine. I'm not sitting here trying to convince you to not buy it. Just want you to be wary of what you're doing. Think about this for a minute. Like we're talking about cars where they've had full complaints. The government has now opened another case into their full self-driving. How many cases is that, you ask? That's going to be about 8 since they've been out. They've been subpoenaed and been warranted to come down and talk about it, and they have yet to do it. He has yet to say that he has to respond. He is doing any and everything. You had an Apple engineer who was killed, who had a full self-driving car run right into his motorcycle and kill him. And you know what? It was about to go to trial. And before it went to trial, he paid them because he knew that when that information came out, it was going to be a problem to even have full self-driving cars here. There's a reason. There's a reason why all these other cars, like let's take Waymo and Cruise, for instance.
Okay.
Now, Waymo and Cruise use LiDAR, radar, and cameras, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, look at the regulation on them to the point where GM has shut down Cruise and Waymo is still trying to make their way back so they could be full, self-autonomous in a lot of these other places like San Francisco and all of that. But why is it that they're allowing Tesla to do this? Do you realize that in Brazil, the only place he has real or full self-driving autonomy in is Brazil?
I'm not surprised.
Brazil can't even stop their shooters. Come on.
Follow the money.
The man is rich. I just want to say this much. And like I said, we're going to move on from it. I hate dogging him out on this topic, but you already know how I feel about it. My thing is going to be this, right? The man has played his way into the government, for Christ's sake. He said that he doesn't want the government to come back from shutdown until after the holidays. Who is he? How did he get that far? Nobody is questioning it. Trump questioned Barack Obama's birth certificate, but will not question where Elon Musk was born. He don't do that.
Because he doesn't have to.
Yo,
he doesn't have to, bro.
At the end of the day, it's just sad. You got to make sure that you're checking out what you're buying. Do you realize that out of all of the full self-driving accidents that have happened in the United States, 88% of them are Teslas?
Yes, I believe that. And 80%? He reminds me of how fortunate that I am that I have my driver's license and it's legit. And I have one of the best, in my opinion, and it's only my opinion alone, that I am in one of the best vehicles in the MFing world right now.
Well, you feel that way because you know why? You believe in your own abilities. It is not the car. And it is you.
And what I am driving. That's important too, because you know Ford has been around for almost forever. Tesla hasn't been around that long. So, you know, we all know that they're still going through major trial and effort that's turning into crimes and stuff like that. I shouldn't say that, but it is what it is. But at least I know when I turn the key in my Ford F-150, I know what I have.
So here's the last tidbit too. Keep this in mind, that this is the reason why a lot of these car companies, a lot of people look, this is why the car companies can't keep up with Tesla, and because he is shortchanging you one way or the other. He's shortchanging
and he's getting paid off.
He's getting paid.
He's getting paid off that.
They're using synthetic leather. Everybody want to know what synthetic leather is, or they're using what did he call it? He called it vegan leather. So they're using leather. They make it amazing as it sounds. They're using carrots and all kind of stuff to make leather for the seats. They bubble up. Look at the build quality. Serious. Look at the build quality of the car itself. Oh, well, it has all of this tech in it. Did everybody forget about 4 years ago that other people's cars went down, and he said, you know what? Instead of replacing this head unit, either you're going to pay for one or you're just going to have a Tesla with an old head unit because the government said you can't do that.
Right.
We're not making this up. This man is really a shark, and people not paying attention is going to be too late. They're going to wake up, and he's going to have everything going already. Shout to my man, Miller. I'm sorry, Miller. Continue on, man. Shout to
that's all. Like I said, that's all right, brother. You need to let that out. But I never thought I'd be saying this. But I might have to get off the phone with you because you got more show to do.
I'm sorry, Miller. You already know what it is, man. Shout out to Time NYC, man. I apologize. But it's true.
Damn, brother, you got more show to do. Let me get off and listen. You done ran it to me. I'm gonna have to call you back next week. I'm gonna let you just let it out on. Let your feelings be known, brother. You got somebody here who is listening, who is on your side, who is in your corner, along with Dr. Phil, Big J, and the rest of the family in the building. We got your back.
Let's go.
On that note, I'm going to sign out, brother. Be good, be safe.
All right, Miller, good looking, man. Happy holidays to you and yours. You know what it is.
Likewise to you and the family. Oh, and thank you for the birthday shout-outs from last week. I truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
My God.
Brother, be good, be safe, take care.
Yo, appreciate you, Miller. Take it easy.
Peace.
This is my problem, y'all. At the end of the day, nobody's holding them accountable. And I'm going to be honest with you. Here at Rally Radio, we've been on it. We've been on it. But now it's going to come down to people actually seeing it for themselves. Because in all honesty, we know people going to buy these cars. First of all, I don't know how anybody considers them luxury, but they're not. But you're going to buy the car, that's fine. But know what you're getting into. Do the homework. Because I believe if you do, you won't buy one. You'll be like, you know what, man, I think I'm going to just stick with that Toyota. I think I'm going to just stick with that Honda. I think I'm going to just stick with that Ford. I think I'm going to just stick with the Chevy over here because when they are tried and true automotive companies that are held to a certain standard by the government. He is not. He is not. And as long as you keep putting these cars in these positions, let me stop calling them cars because they're not. But you keep putting them in a position where people are like, oh, they're great. They're not. They're not. They're moving refrigerators. They're appliances. They're ugly. But it's up to you. It's up to you. I'm going to just keep it moving. I know I'm wilding with the rant. You already know what it is. Shout out to everybody tuned in, paying attention. I apologize. You know how we get down, man, here at Rally Radio. With that being said, we're going to move right on to our next little segment we got going on here, man. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. We about to jump right into it. Here we go.
It's Tech Talk with Pop the Bearded One and S.I. Shaw.
Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You know how we get down, man. It's Tech Talk in the building. We like to talk about a lot of our different cars and the loves that we have for autos. It looks like the Honda Prelude will be making it back. The return is official. However, everybody wanted to know, will it be manual? Will it be auto? Will it be hybrid? Will it be electric? Will it be gas? And, we got a couple answers for you. So shout out to everybody who's paying attention. The Honda Prelude will return back to America in 2025. That's in a couple weeks. Maybe I didn't say the last quarter or the third quarter of 2025. So what are we looking at, Bearded One? What is it looking like for the Honda Prelude? Well, for everybody that knows, the Honda Prelude has always been Honda's guinea pig. When they came down to the four-wheel steering, they used this. When it came down to the SH and the bigger VTEC engines, they had that in this. But it looks like the Honda Prelude will return, and it will be a hybrid. And it will also come with a different kind of automatic transmission that Toyota was trying to sell, where it looks like it's going to try to anticipate what you want to do and deliver maximum levels of driver engagement. I don't know what that means. Good luck to them for that. But it's going to have a 200 horsepower, two-motor hybrid powertrain, and that's going to sit under the hood. But it will have Type R parts on it. It will have Civic Type R brakes. Well, let me not say brakes. It's going to have the Civic Type R suspension under it, which is going to be very interesting. But it looks like Honda's just bringing this back. I guess they feel like they have like a cult following with the Prelude. But in my personal opinion, if they don't bring this car back and actually make it performance, it's going to be a problem. You know, it was a prototype at first. It looked like it's coming back. Honda did say they would never make another two-door car, and now here we go. They are back with the Honda Prelude. So I guess even Honda realizes that they got to walk back some of the mistakes that they made back in the past, like the Type R. Type R should definitely be two-door, but it is what it is. It looks like the Acura Integra Type R is still selling, or Type S, rather. It's still selling. Beautiful car. And my Civic Type R also, the FL5, all of them are selling. So I guess they figure as long as it's moving, we don't reinvent the wheel. So it is working. Shout to them. You know how we get down, man. Shout to them. Don't want to we hold them to a standard. Honda's another company that holds themselves to a standard. So it's definitely something good to see. But with that being said, we are in the building. Shout out to everybody who's rocking with us. With that being said, we're going to jump right into this next little segment that we got going on over here. Like I said, this is our driver's etiquette. Well, not driver's etiquette, excuse me. Tech Talk. Now, it looks like the VW VR6. For those Volkswagen owners out there that love Volkswagen, it looks like that's going to be it. The VR6 has ended production, silencing its 6-cylinder song. And I think that sucks. But it is happening. It is happening. It looks like they have now killed the VR6. Now, for those who's into performance, especially if you were street racing early on in the early 2000s, 90s, whatever, the VR6 was nothing to play with. It had a different sound. Definitely was one of those engines that was about it. I always question why nobody piloted one into like an 8-second turnout, like how you would see with a GTR with a 6, and they was able to bring one of those in. And now you got a Nissan Z out here right now that's holding it down, going into 8 seconds. Why they can never power that into the 8-second mark? But if for those that don't know, the VR6 was highly sought after in the streets. It came in the Passat. It came in the Volkswagen Passat. It also came into certain levels of Jetta. You was able to get one of VR6 in them. And let me tell you, they was not easy engines to find. Volkswagens are not easy to tune, but it looks like Volkswagen wanted to close the door on a lot of their gas-powered cars. You know what? They're like, we said we going electric, and they're going to stick with going electric. For those who have not been paying attention, Volkswagen has been running into speed bumps left and right. Doesn't look like they've been able to sell cars, but they're doing the best they can, I guess. I just don't know why they want to get rid of the VR6. VR6, even the sound. Just the fact that when you say VR6, it sounds great. You know what I mean? But they want to get rid of it. We're going to dig into it just a little bit. It looks like this month earlier, Volkswagen ended the VR6 engine. With VW financial struggles and the switch to Turbo 4s, the death of the VR6 isn't a big surprise. It's not. At the end of the day, they've been planning on killing this engine, I would say, for at least the past 3-4 years. The VR6 has appeared in many memorable VW models, from the sporty Corrado to the exotic Beetle RSI to the Golf R32. Just to elaborate on those, everybody knows the Corrado is one of my most highly sought after cars, that if I had to get a Volkswagen, it was going to be that one. I ran into a clean one just recently, and I was just really impressed. They wanted about $4,000, and I thought that, wouldn't be a bad buy if I was really in the market to own one, but it is definitely beautiful. But the VR6 has been dead for a while in the United States. The last VW sold here with a VR6 in it was a 2023 Atlas midsize SUV, where the application was a 3.6-liter producing 276 horsepower, 266 foot-pounds of torque, and nobody wanted it. So this is what it is. Everything has been replaced with the Turbo 4. This is their way of saying, you know what, we don't need it, we don't want it. But one time, we wanted to give it up here at Rally Radio for the VR6. Another legend. A VR6, a 6-cylinder that was pretty small. It could fit in a lot of the smaller hatch cars. And you got a lot of for the VW heads, this is definitely one of those moments where they hang their head in shame and they say to themselves, you know what? This is what it is. Shout to my guy Tiny. He's in the building early. You already know what it is, man. Shout to him. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment. We can shout you out. You already know what it is. Shout to him. With that being said, you already know we get down, man. It's sad out here, man. It is sad out here when it comes to being a performance guy, because they're trying to do any and everything they can to take the customization out of owning a vehicle. And I think that is the worst thing that they could do. But it looks like they're trying to make it happen. You know what I mean? with that being said, shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. We are here. We are in the building. I wanted to talk about Honda. Honda recently went on their page and they talked about what they call an L15 swap that they put in the Acura Integras of the old 95s, 94s. And you know what? I was looking at that swap. So for those that don't know, that is a smaller 1.5 liter turbocharged engine that Honda has put in. I believe they have one in a lot of the like the Civic Si, Honda CRV. They're swapping them into these Acura Integras and Civics, and they're actually coming out with motor mounts, and Honda is actually coming out with ECUs and computers that can actually control these swaps. So with that being said, it's like, wow, like, is this another swap that anybody's going to be reaching for? Comes out with 200 horsepower at the rip, but turbo, so you can do a lot with it. I guess it remains to be seen. I'm going to drop that in the comments below for the automotive, for the tech guys. Is that a swap that you're interested in? I feel like if I'm going to swap an engine, it got to be worth it. I don't know if that 1.5, that L15 is really that. Because if I got an older car, then I go K-Series all the way. And I could just swap a K-Series and call it a day. And one of the selling points that Honda was saying was that K-Series is not being made, and only certain ones of them are actually performance. B-Series are hard to find because they stopped making them a long time ago, and they're more expensive. This swap is going to take them into the future. What's your thoughts on that? Let me know what it is, man. You already know what it is. It's the bearded one. We are in the building, and with that being said, we're going to move right on to our next segment with so much more show to do. You know how we get down. Shout out to my guy, Miller Time NYC. We're going to jump right in, and here we go.
Driver's etiquette. Go. Because sometimes you got to get this off your chest.
Right. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You already know what it is, man. It's the bearded one. And yes, I am here on Driver's Etiquette. I got a lot to say today. And, you know, shout out to everybody who's rocking with us, who paid attention, who's with us, man. Every Saturday, I appreciate y'all. I really do. Shout out to my guy, Mark Camperford, a.k.a. On the Mark Photography, is in the building. The average consumer is outweighing the car enthusiasts in the automotive market. With that, consumers just want people carriers. Nobody wants to drive anymore. We're going to have to pin that for this segment here, because that is what I'm about to get into. That is our driver's etiquette for today. And it's also going to tie into our legend of auto. Shout to Dr. Phil. And we're going to get into it a little bit as far as the driver's etiquette is concerned. I always thought that Musk and Tesla was evil. I always thought, like, you know what, nah, you know, he's coming on too strong, too many people following them, too many people doing what they want to do with them. And now I'm convinced. So it's going to be a one we're going to talk about here. So with that being said, you heard some of the things that we spoke about earlier as far as the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration wanting to investigate him, and there's nothing they can do with him. Well, it looks like he put himself on the government panel so they don't have to deal with it. Now, for those that sit there and say they business-minded and, oh, you know, it's a smart move and he's going to make more money, but at what cost? At what cost to the people? I think we got to start thinking about this. Like, you know, there's just a certain standard that autos should come with. And you know what? He's been the one that's been able to really, really get around it. Shout out to my guy, Sales. Happy holidays to all those watching and listening, because we're about to get into it. The mere fact that he feels he does not have to answer to the government, who has been asking him to do certain things since 2016, is ridiculous. The fact that they've been telling him, you know, they want to investigate or certain things because of the full self-driving incidents, and he calls them primitive, is ridiculous. And you know what the more sad part is that, yeah, people who believe it. Oh, you know, we don't need that. We don't need all of the checks and balances and the mechanisms in order to make sure that this guy is doing the right thing because Elon Musk is God. I beg to differ. And we all saw what happened to the angel who fancied himself a God, where he ended up at. At the end of the day, you got to start listening to a lot of these different things and watching a lot of these different type of medias and really asking yourself, if this car was that good, wouldn't they be all over the place? If this car was one of the best car, or not car, I hate calling it a car, appliance, a refrigerator with wheels. Shout to SI Show. If this car was that great, why are people crashing? Seriously, why is it crashing in full self-driving? Why do 88% of the full self-driving accidents happen in a Tesla? Why? Why? A lot of people can't answer that question. I just don't understand. Shout to Draco. To save this man from himself. I know it's ridiculous out here. Shout to Jessica Grant. She said that's what checks and balances is for. I don't know why he keeps slipping under the radar. You know why he keeps slipping under the radar? Reason being is because he is using what a lot of people use to slip through the radar. He's rich and he has influence. And sometimes we got to check who we are influenced by. I watched a video of Elon Musk bringing out a Tesla robot, a minivan, and they made sure to have the hip-hop community in the building. They made sure of it. Oh, you know what? They had 2 Chainz talking to a robot who actually remembered his name the minute he said it. And a lot of people are into that kind of technology. They're like, oh, you know what? Oh, you know, what are you really trying to do? Take over the world? Who cares if the robot knows your name? Okay. Listen, a lot of these things, we not, I can say that we know, we've seen, and we see how a lot of these things play out. And it's only going to get uglier. He made sure to have the hip-hop community in the building because he knows that the biggest influences us is the hip-hop community. He knows that. He knows that. He's using it. He's using it. A lot of people will say, oh, well, you know, Teslas are great. All I got to do is charge it and drive. But God forbid you get into an accident. And when I say this, I don't just mean an accident you caused. You don't have to cause this accident. Somebody could smack right into the side of you. They can't get you out. And these fires, these batteries burst into flames. And the fire department can do nothing for you. That doesn't scare you? If it's a gas engine car, they show up, they put the fire out and call it a day. With these battery power, with these batteries that are in these cars, they letting them burn out. I don't get it. When it comes down to people's safety, we have to expect more. Period. When it comes down to people's safety, we have to expect more. If we don't, we are nothing but sheep for the slaughter. Stop being sheep. Pay attention to the things that you see. Pay attention to the news. Pay attention and use your own brain. Pull the tea leaves together and you'll see for yourself that a lot of the things that people are trying to sell you are no good. Yes, we have a host of other things that are no good. Yes, the food is messed up. Goes through the government. Somebody's getting paid. That's why they're allowing them to do it. The same thing with Tesla. Somebody's getting paid. That's why they're allowing them to do it. But at the end of the day, it's your choice to pick it up if you want. And ultimately, when you look at it, a lot of the people who don't want these cars are people like my homeboy Mark Camperforce said, real drivers. Real drivers. We are not the average car enthusiast. No, I'm not. I'm way above average as a car enthusiast, and I'm not an average consumer on anything. I do my homework on everything. No, let's look it up, because if there's one thing I know and I've learned in my entire life is that a fool and his money soon split. And at the end of the day, if you're not paying attention, it will definitely split from you. Before you give them your money, before you give them your honesty, you stand behind a word and, oh, you know what? Electric vehicles are safe for 100,000 per capita. Do your homework. because I've done mine. I've looked. I've posted. I've said. I've put it out there. And for that, the people are going to do what they want to do. But at the end of the day, when you really look at a lot of this stuff, you don't even buy it. You're just like, you know what? I love Elon. I love Tesla, and that's that. There were people out there calling Elon my daddy. Weird. They out there like, oh, Elon Musk is my daddy. Never. If his name ain't on your birth certificate, you wildin'. And as a matter of fact, I gotta give you one for that.
It's the understeer.
If you out here calling any other man your daddy and it's not your daddy, that's a problem. But it just goes to show, this is ridiculous. Shout to Shy. He said Elon is a tumor. He buys into great companies and makes himself look smart. He don't really know his companies. I could almost guarantee that. But at the end of the day, I believe that the people need to know, like, listen, we buy these things and not know what we could be getting ourselves into. I just think it's amazing as far as autos are concerned. And it's a black eye on the automotive community. It is. Because you'll get guys that show up. Many times I've been to all kind of different car meets. Shout out to everybody who's paying attention. I've showed up at different car meets. When you show up, you see the guy show up with the Tesla, and everybody's like, ooh, me and my crew, we the only ones that sit back and go, well, what else can it do? Oh, you don't do anything with it. You can't tune it. Well, you probably could, but you need a laptop and you need a clearance. You need government clearance in order to get to the ECU because it's considered piracy if you touch it. People need to start doing their homework. You got people that own them and they talking all this and all that. And I'll say one thing to them and they be like, well, I didn't know the car could do that. I didn't know it was responsible for that. You ain't know a lot then. You got to start doing our homework. And as far as I'm concerned, we got to start really getting back to the mode of driving. You know why there's a lot of accidents these days? You know why? And that's one of the reasons why he was able to really like imprint himself on the government. You know why there's a lot of accidents these days? Because people find any and everything to do behind the wheel except drive. You know why there's a lot of people, pedestrians being run over by cars? Because people find any and everything to do but drive. Pay attention. I think we got to ask ourselves, do we have an Elon Musk problem? Or do we have an attention problem? And I think that's really where we lack. Shout to the Brown Hornet. He's in the building early. Let's go. Our attention is what we paying attention to. Oh, cars, listen, it's going to happen one way or the other. There's no way to refute that. There will be a future in cars. That will be that. But are we ready for it now is the question. When do we get away from the time when we do the homework, we test, and then we go forward? I don't even remember a test period for these cars. I think the test period is now, and these are the people that are dying for it. Keep it in mind, man. Keep it in mind. They'll sell you 1 million Wolf tickets. But at the end of the day, you got to know better. I was always told that. Use your head for more than holding a hat. Be smart. Because people, when they realize you don't know what you're talking about, they got you. Pay attention. Shout to Shy. He said he knows it needs special equipment to put them out. But has he ever offered to buy fire departments that stuff? Exactly. Volkswagen took their cars when they was having problems with their cars. They took their cars and dropped them from 100 feet high on cranes. And the information that they found from dropping these cars and actually smashing them up, that certain pinch points and things would happen, they sent it to the local fire department for them to dissect and have that information. If they ever come across a Volvo that's been in a 3-car pileup, they can get them out. That is what safety is about. Mercedes-Benz, when they started bringing out the airbag or the seatbelt with Volkswagen, a lot of these companies have done vast majority of moving us forward in safety. This guy saying he's moving you forward, but taking away some of the parts needed to be safe, and then selling the car for more. Good luck with that. You already know what it is, man. It's the bearded one here. I ain't want to rant, but you know how we get down, man. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in, paying attention. We're in the building early. And for those who are Elon stands, you're just not going to like me. You might as well just turn from my YouTube channel right now. You might as well just move right on. But this is what it's about here. At the end of the day, I'm for the drivers. I'm for the fixes. I'm for the tuners. I'm for the drag races. I'm for the road racing. That's what I'm about. That's what Rally Radio is about. We got to keep that in mind. No, I'm not here to sit here and be like, oh, no, not here for that. Sorry. I'm here for the sport. So with that being said, shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. We appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. You already know what it is, and those that know me know how I get down. It is what it is, man. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into our Legends of Auto. Shout out to my guy, Dr. Phil. This was actually a great pickup, and I can't wait to talk about this story because this is exactly why we do what we do. Let's go.
Legends of Auto. Real legends never die.
Shout to everybody who tuned in and who's paying attention. It is definitely one of those days today. But we're going to get right into this with our Legends of Auto. Our Legend of Auto today is going to be Naoki Nishimoto. Who is Naoki Nishimoto, you say? Naomi, I don't want to chop her name up. Naoki Nishimoto is a 79-year-old woman she just turned 80. And she has a Mazda RX-7 sports car for the past 25 years that she's driven every day. Now that she's crossing over to 80, she wanted to give the car up, but she considered the car her life partner. She said she drove the car wherever she wanted. She loved the fact that she was able to drive the car around. She loved the performance of it. She loved the freedom of the vehicle. It was a Mazda, like I said, RX-7. And we already know that these cars are not easy to come by, especially the way that she kept it. When Nishimoto was working as a clerk at the age of 55, she was looking to buy a new car. She checked more than 10 dealerships for a two-seater, but found nothing that piqued her interest. She then fell in love with the Mazda RX-7 when she first happened to see it in an anime series called Initial D. So if those that don't know, check out Initial D when you can. She said its outline is beautiful. She immediately bought a brand new silver model for around 3 million yen or $20,000 25 years ago. She has since used the vehicle for daily necessities like trips to the supermarket and all different things, driving around for all kind of freedom. She ranked up 75,000 kilometers over 2.5 decades of use, and even now it runs smoothly with a pleasure roar from the rotary engine audible from the driver's seat. She made up her mind to let go of the beloved cruiser in December of 2022 when she turned 78. Although she felt no anxiety about driving, she decided it'd be best to hand in her license before she has any regrets and chose her 80th birthday as the right occasion. Hoping to pass the car to another woman, she searched for the next rightful owner, and you already know that a lot of cats wanted to buy the car off her. So in her last beautiful gesture, she gave the Mazda RX-7 back to Mazda. You gotta give me a minute on that one. I think that is one of the most beautiful things I ever heard. She received 400 emails to buy this car off of her, from tuners to other female owners, and she thought none of them was worthy. And she said, you know what? She wanted to do the right thing by the RX-7, who she felt was her life partner. That's crazy. That's crazy. She loved that car, and she ended up giving it back to Mazda. And what Mazda said they're going to do with it, they're going to send it out, they're going to redo it or clean the car up, and it's going to go into their showroom for the rest of his years. That is a true legend of auto right there. That right there, to me, is what driving represents. Naoki Nishimoto Been driving this Mazda RX-7 since she was 55 years old. Now turning 80, she decided not only to give up her license, but to give up the car. But she didn't want to just give it up to somebody who's probably going to drift it and slide it into a wall. No, she wanted to do right by the cars that what she felt was her life partner, something that when she retired from work, she didn't have such a big family. And you know what she wanted to do? She wanted to do with her car. More than impressive to me, in my opinion. And for that, Naoku Nishimoto, today you get your flowers.
Legends of Auto. Real legends never die.
True legend. True legend. There's not a lot of... She was 75 years old driving manual with a Mazda RX-7 and drove it every day to do her regular chores. So we have no excuse. We looking for a car that's going to drive us around. This lady is 80 years old, and even though she says it did not affect her, she could still drive it. She thought that it would be the better thing to do. This is beautiful. I think the best part about, shout out to Dr. Phil, the best part is that it was manual. If this 80-year-old woman or 75-year-old woman, let's say at that time, could drive a manual car to go to the supermarket, go to the dry cleaning, take a regular drive out, go see her family, do any and everything with this car for the past 25 years, you mean to tell me that Tesla really does have a future because it could full self-drive? You buying that? I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. You already know what it is, man. It's the bearded one here. We are in the building. Shout to everybody, too. Shout to Dr. Phil for sending that to me. That definitely was one of the greater articles that I've read today, and I was just so impressed by it. I just thought that is a legend. She is a legend. She is truly a legend. Not all heroes wear capes. You know what I mean? So with that being said, we're going to step right into our next little segment. You know how it is.
Mods, the newest and freshest. Modifications, parts, and fashion. Only on Rally Radio.
All right. You already know what it is, man. It's the bearded one in the building. Looks like Ducati. Oh, my goodness. And let me tell you something. Everybody knows I love motorcycles. It is what it is. I love them. I love street bikes. Cruisers, I could probably get into it if I really, tried. I told myself I wanted to get one. But the street bikes I love. And it looks like Ducati is putting out a collector's edition Ducati Panigale V4 Tricolor. Now, for those that don't know, they're only making 1,000 units. Now, the Tricolor is usually the ones that are collector's items, right? This one in particular comes with, the fact that they put aero on this. It comes with a race-ready Brembo braking system, carbon fiber wheels. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. Don't forget, you can follow us on Instagram at Rally Radio Podcast. I'm definitely going to be putting it up there. It has an 1100cc engine, 13,500 RPM level, 209 horsepower, 89 foot-pounds of torque. And it only weighs 414 pounds. Whoa. And it comes with aero that even the Air Force would be jealous of. Beautiful car. And when they say beautiful motorcycle. And when they say tricolor, what they mean is they put the Italian flag colors all over the car. So green, white, and red. Beautiful, beautiful motorcycle. Definitely one of those that I wish if I could afford, I would buy it. But we already know it's a little bit out of my price range, but I'll keep my Cash App down there one day. So maybe y'all could donate to me and actually get me to get one, and I could talk about it later. But with that being said, that's our hot mods. The 2025 Ducati Panigale V4 Tricolor.
Mods, the newest and freshest. Modifications, parts, and fashion. Only on Rally Radio.
All right, you already know what it is, man. We've come to one of our favorite parts of the show. And I'm glad everybody that stuck around thus far because I got something for y'all today. We are going to need, this is going to get very interesting, y'all. So hang on with me because there's a lot that I want to update just to make sure that you guys get the whole gist of what happened here. So with that being said, we're going to need to call down our police officers from California and Palm Springs because we have one in particular.
It's the Understeer.
What up?
Where we like to ask, what the hell were you thinking?
So this Understeer is actually going to go to the Palm Springs police officers who actually looked like they wanted to do something good for the community, and they went all the way wrong. According to Police Chief Andy Mills, officers were both provided a crowd control services and performing demonstrations for the crowd during the parade when one of them slipped off the peg of his bike, grabbed the handle, and accidentally opened the throttle. So for those that know, I ride motorcycles. The worst thing you could do at this point, if you're in a crash or you feel like you're losing control of your motorcycle, do not. You all holding on to the handlebars, but you may pin the throttle. This is exactly what will happen here. With that being said, we're going to play this little video. We're going to come right back. Check this out, y'all.
Outside Los Angeles, a police officer losing control of his motorcycle, crashing into a crowd of people during a parade to celebrate the holiday season. That officer is among nearly a dozen people left injured. This morning, new questions after a police officer crashed his motorcycle into a crowd of people as they watched a holiday parade in Palm Springs, California. 10 people were injured, including the police officer riding that motorcycle. Witnesses say the officer was popping a wheelie when he suddenly lost control.
We heard a loud motorcycle that did not sound normal, like it should be there. And then like a crash.
Emergency responders who were participating in the parade rushed to help the injured people, including crews on ambulances and fire trucks decorated for the holidays.
We see all the crowd running towards it to help out people. And it was just very freaky.
One spectator jumped into action, putting a tourniquet on an injured woman.
Trying to wrap her leg to stop the...
It's getting ugly out here. Listen, the reason it's not funny that people got hurt. But at the end of the day, what was he doing trying to pop a wheelie, trying to throw it up at a crowd full of people? I don't know what he was thinking there. And we never get you for what you do. We get you for what, everybody? How you get caught doing it. And not for nothing. If just think about it, you're a little kid, you there, you see it, the whole thing go on. If this officer had popped a wheelie on that 2000 some odd Harley and actually threw it up and landed it, it'd have been beautiful. But he didn't. He went to throw a wheelie up, lost control, and crashed that motorcycle to a crowd of people. They had to use a tourniquet to save a whole bunch of people. It's actually crazy. And you want to believe to yourself that these people, like, he's an officer of the law. Like, what do they say whenever a motorcycle gets into an accident and one wheel is off the ground? It's automatically your fault, for those that don't know. If you ever get into an accident and you was wheeling, it's automatically your fault because one wheel was off the ground. So I'm going to have to blame the officer on this one. And I think the crazier part is what they were saying to try to say that, he slipped off his peg. Nah, the audience said he was trying to pop a wheelie and he lost control of it. He went to throw it up. It looks like everybody's going to recover. Everybody's going to be safe. But however, this officer is not protected from being.
It's the Understeer.
What up?
Where we like to ask, what the hell were you thinking?
Listen. I always say this, man. When you're around people with motorcycles and they doing tricks, you need to be paying attention. It don't take much for them to lose control of it and throw it into the crowd. It happens all the time. We see these takeover videos. Come on. But with that being said, shout to everybody tuned in, paying attention. I appreciate y'all early. Shout to Jessica Grammy. She said they're going to try to clean that up. You already know because I'm Sue. My middle name is Sue, if that's the case. Somebody got to come off some bread. That's what I know. It's going to be hilarious out there. I mean, you talk about people injured and hurt. Oh, you're paying. You're paying. I just think that at the end of the day, it's a funny thing that he was trying to pop a wheelie at an event like that. Like, what was he going to do? Like, he going to throw it up and stand on it? Like, I mean, it didn't even look like it was a lot of space. Y'all saw the video. It don't look like there's a lot of space there to do what he got to do, but he did it. And for that, he got the Understeer. So with that being said, we reached the end of the show. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention with us. Appreciate y'all early. You already know what it is. With our exhaust notes. This is our exhaust notes. We already reached the end of the show. There's some things I wanted to discuss with y'all before we move on for the rest of the day. Like I said, shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Appreciate y'all greatly. There's some things that I wanted to talk to everybody about. Definitely got some some things going on. It's gonna be great. We got a lot of different events and things that's gonna be popping up that we just want to make sure that everybody's abreast of, so that y'all know what we got going on. So, with that being said, Rally Radio will be getting back to our kart racing January 19th, April 13th, and July 13th, October 12th. Those are going to be our dates. So don't forget, I'm going to put it out there to the group. If you're not in the group, we're going to make sure that you know. Everybody get themselves ready. Do yourself a favor. Get your own helmet. Bring your GoPro. And trust and believe we taping and recordings. There's going to be posters of you crashing. Be careful out there, Tonio. The last time we went, almost knocked my teeth out my mouth, man, when we was carting, man. He ran into my cart, man. Boy, I had to go to the bathroom and make sure I had all my teeth. It was crazy. Shout to Tonio there. We also going to be throwing GutterballRally bowling events. March 1st, June 14th, September 13th. We're going to have a lot of things going on. We're going to have our speed and grease when it gets warm. Get your cars out. How Rick Ross say, where your car at, nigga? Yeah, that's where we at right there, man. Make sure you got your cars out. It's going to be interesting. Rally Radio, Speed and Greet, March 22nd, April 20th, May 18th, July 13th, August 10th, and September 21st. And also, the 2025 GutterballRally Enter the Dragon Run. It's going down. June 5th to June 9th, we want to make our run out to the Dragon's Tail. You already know what it is. Only the strong survive. Make sure y'all ready. All of these events will be posted in GutterballRally, the community group. If you're not in the group, got to make sure we get you in the group. Got to join the group. This is the group at the bottom. GutterballRally, the community Facebook group page. If you're listening and you're not a member of the group, do yourself a favor. Go on Facebook, assign to the group. I am there. I will accept you in. All you got to do is answer the 3 questions. You do get a lot of weirdos, get a lot of people trying to sell things. So I try to make sure that I filter that whoever's in the group is somebody that's going to actually give the group information, or just coming in to learn, or you want to be part of the events. Don't forget, man, it's the bearded one here. Rally Radio's in the building. GutterballRally's going to make it happen. You know how we get down, man. This next summer, we are going to take over the world. And if you want to be part of it, you know where to find us, man. I appreciate everybody that tuned in, that rocked with us today. You already know what it is. Shout to Jessica Grandy. She's in the building early. Appreciate you. Shout to my guy, Draco. Shout to Dr. Phil. Shout to Jay. Shout to Shy. Shout to the Brown Hornet. Shout to my guy Tiny. Shout to Mark Campbell, a.k.a. On the Mark Photography. Got to get him in the building. You already know what it is. Shout to my guy Sales. Shout to Raheem Owens. Shout to Corey Bradford. Shout to my guy Dave. Shout to Zoom for Zoom. Shout to everybody who tuned in. Shout to my guy Draco. Shout to Race Harley. Dolph Spall. You already know what it is. With that being said, I want to say I appreciate everybody. I hope everybody's holiday is great. Happy holidays from mine to you and yours, from everybody here at Rally Radio to you and your family. We appreciate everybody who tunes in, everybody who rocks with us. I appreciate y'all greatly. We got a lot of other things coming through. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. We are here. YouTube at Rally Radio Podcast. We will be making it happen. We will be building a couple cars along the way. We will be making all of our events. And don't forget, if you're making an event, there's a good chance you're going to pop up on the YouTube channel. Don't be afraid to tell people who you are. So with that being said, like I said, I appreciate everybody who rocked with us today. Make sure you add yourself. Shout out to Jessica Grandy. She said, happy holidays, guys. Happy holidays to everybody out there. And she also said something that makes some sense. This ain't Mario Kart. We out here getting it. You already know what it is. So with that being said, until next week, I am out.
Drop the clutch, hit the gas. Rally Radio, where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Yeah.
You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio.
Yeah.
Where the world of hip hop and sports live.
dropping the clutch and then I hit the gas. Wheels screeching, tires burning, I'm flying past. Gotta get home quick, don't wanna miss the class. They schooling you on whips and how to make them fast. Talking about everything from cars to planes. What's hot, what's next, and how to flip the game. They talk in my language, we speak the same. That whip talk complex, but yet they keep it plain. From the news, the interviews, they keep it cool. They give reviews, everything from parts to tools. Can't lose, come to whips, they not no fools. Don't miss the show, the start time is noon. The bearded one, S.I. Sean, they crazy though. You can't miss it, tune in the Rally Radio.
Where the fast life meets the fast lane.